That's right. You read the title right. Today I'm talking about centralized exchanges and which ones could work for you if that's what you need. There's a lot more that goes into this topic, and I will be talking about it all. So let's get into it. Although I am listing these exchanges here today, I need this to be known that I am not recommending you to store your cryptocurrencies on a centralized exchange for any period of time. If you are new to this cryptocurrency space, hello and welcome. I know that this is your first step into gaining a position with your cryptocurrency investments, but please know that this is step number one, and a very important next step, is for you to familiarize yourself with other cryptocurrency wallets that will ultimately give you complete control and possession over your cryptocurrency investments, because that is the whole point of this beautiful cryptocurrency space, is having complete control and possession over your investment. If you want to know how to get into that, I have plenty of videos listed down below in the video description, some suggestions for you to watch. Additionally, for those of you who are in the CT club of my Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/cryptotips, join the CT club, and there I am offering a free live video chat style class that will go over all of these different kind of wallet options, help you decide which one will work best for you depending on your goals. So it'll be free, it'll be live. That means you can get your questions answered. You can learn a lot from what other people are asking as well. If you're interested, I encourage you to go to my Patreon page. Again, patreon.com/cryptotips, join the CT club, and I'll see you there. Now, if you're wondering why I am not suggesting to store your cryptocurrencies on any centralized exchange, no matter which one it is, even the ones I am listing here today, here are some cautionary tales, some scenarios that are really playing out in one way or another in this cryptocurrency space all of the time. First one being new centralized exchanges that don't offer any kind of KYC requirement, because that to me signals an exit scam, money grab scenario yet to play out, basically because they don't plan on lasting long enough to suffer the repercussions of not abiding by the governmental regulations. So unfortunately in this space, regulations exist. They are being imposed by different governments around the world for, however they decide to regulate crypto. And centralized exchanges specifically are organized in a way so that that is enforced pretty easily. They have CEOs, they have physical locations that are centralized and easy to spot and enforce the law. So if a new exchange, especially if it is new, is doing this, basically they just want people to, get lured in by the no KYC, deposit their coins onto that exchange and into their possession, because again, that is what happens when you are depositing your coins onto a centralized exchange. You're giving it to them for them to do whatever the heck they want with it, so then they can begin collecting their loot and getting out before the jig is up and before the news lines hit that another exit scam has just taken place. Also, there are always articles to be found talking about exchanges that exist that don't require KYC. Now, unless these lists are of specifically and only decentralized exchanges, I would be incredibly skeptical of any exchange that they list. Again, especially if they are being described as new or up and coming or exciting or whatever. Just be very wary of that. Also, if you are a US citizen that wants to participate in this cryptocurrency space, you're going to be faced with, you're pretty much between a rock and a hard place, because you are either going to be banned from certain centralized exchanges because they simply don't want to deal with your big bad government and their lengthy, regulations and the SEC. They don't even want to deal with it, so they're just going to cut you out altogether. Or you will be required to give up a whole lot more sensitive information than any other citizen in this world, of a citizen of a different country than the US. Unfortunately, US citizens are often required to give up extremely sensitive and personal and lengthy and in-depth information about themselves in order to take part in a centralized exchange, because that is what the US government is requiring to be collected about you and your behavior and what you're doing with the cryptocurrency space. Some very typical KYC information to be collected is, for example, a governmentally issued photo ID, your proof of address. But for US customers, additionally, you are often asked about your annual salary, about your occupation, about your social security number, what you want to do with this, like why you're investing in this cryptocurrency. Who knows, maybe down the line they'll be asking about your blood type and what you had for dinner last Thursday. These are the very reasons why decentralized exchanges will always be my top suggestion for those of you who want to trade cryptocurrencies in this space. But I can understand that the way that things are going, the times are changing. People might be kind of anxious to enter into this cryptocurrency in space, to invest in cryptocurrencies, but they're not really comfortable using the often not so user-friendly decentralized exchanges. My next video will be going over decentralized exchanges. So for those of you who fall into that category, which I just explained, be sure to not miss that video, because I will be going over why I think decentralized exchanges are worth your time to get comfortable with and which ones I recommend with a much clearer conscience. But in the meantime, here is a crash course into the centralized exchanges. If I have to recommend a centralized exchange, these are the ones that I would recommend. So please take your time when it comes to deciding which centralized exchange you are going to use if you have to, especially if you are required to go through the KYC process. So here are some of the attributes that I looked for if I have to use a centralized exchange. First off is longevity. How long has that exchange been around? That to me adds to its reputation. Also, I'm looking for as little invasive KYC as possible. The smallest amount of information that I am required to give away to take part in it is obviously the better option. And also, do they have something like an insurance fund for theft if the hack comes from the exchange's side, from their lack of security protocols? If you are truly a victim of the exchange's lack of security, do they have an insurance fund that covers your loss because ultimately it was their fault? On a side note, I just want to say that there will never exist an exchange that will have an insurance fund that will cover a loss or theft due to your negligence or poor security practices. Just got to put that out there. Also, what I'm looking for are coins listed and the volume for those coins, because that's going to determine how fast the trades take place. Lastly, take a look at what is being negatively said about the exchange by its users, particularly things like users who are having trouble withdrawing their coins, as in they're not gaining access to their coins. The exchange is hanging on to them, either because they've been hacked or because they're taking your coins and doing something else with them, or they're setting up to be another exit scam. Also, if the exchange is known for or has in the past shut down either right before or even during a time of really volatile price movement. Okay, now that I feel like I've cushioned this video with enough warnings, enough insight for you who are new to this, there's certainly a lot more to learn, but I've made you wait long enough. Here are the specific exchanges that if I had to recommend a centralized cryptocurrency exchange, these would be it. So the first one here is Kraken, with the pros being that they're pretty transparent about their security updates. Also, they have their KYC in-house. That means that much like most other centralized exchanges, like almost every other centralized exchange, when you go through the KYC practice, you're not actually sending the exchange your information. You're sending it to some random third party, and they're not even telling you about that. Also, a pro for Kraken is they have relatively low trading fees. Now, the cons here for Kraken are if you are a US citizen and you want to purchase crypto using fiat, you're going to have to give Kraken your social security number. Next up I have is Bitstamp, and the pros for me here are that it is the longest surviving centralized cryptocurrency exchange so far. Also, their KYC requirements are pretty simple, at least for non-US citizens. Again, it's just a photocopy of your government issued ID and a proof of address. Now, this next one I am saying with a big lump in my throat, and I can't believe I'm putting this on my recommendations, but I am, and that is Binance. Now, the pros here are they do have that insurance fund that they have used in the past. In fact, they used it last summer because they suffered a hack, but their users didn't lose any funds because the insurance fund was put in place. They also have quite a few coins listed on that exchange and also high volumes, so your trades get done faster. Most likely the coin that you're going to want to buy is listed on Binance. The cons here for Binance being that they do outsource their KYC information to a third party, and also if you are a US citizen wanting to use Binance, you will be required to give up your social security number, again, to that random third party. Also, on a side note, I think the CEO of Binance is quite egotistical. I know that has not really, it's not really objective to what the exchange offers you, but he definitely has a pattern of behavior and decisions made that just go against everything that I think this cryptocurrency space is about. For example, he was pondering rolling back the Bitcoin blockchain because they got hacked. They got hacked because they're a centralized exchange and the hackers took advantage of their lax security protocols, or there was a weak point. So he thought that was deserving of rolling back the Bitcoin blockchain when they also had an insurance fund to cover that theft. He also used his customers' funds to gain a top influential position within the Steam blockchain without their permission, and he was definitely capitalizing on that. The list goes on. The last exchange I will be recommending here is CoinMama, with the pros being that it is available in 188 different countries. It is a long-standing exchange being established in 2013, and also they have a brokerage service which allows for pretty quick purchasing of cryptocurrencies. The cons here being that there is a minimum purchase of Bitcoin at $60. You can't purchase less than $60 on this exchange. And also, it isn't available in every state of the US. It is only available in 40 of the 50 states. That's going to wrap it up for today's video, but again, I will remind you to not miss my next video where I will be going over the decentralized exchanges, again, with a much more clear conscience. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. I hope that you found it informative. If you did, I certainly appreciate it if you leave a like. And if you're new, please hit that subscribe button so you can get more information like this all the time. And with that bell notification also, so you won't miss a video. That's going to wrap it up for today, but I hope you guys continue to stay happy and healthy. Until the next time, I'll see you soon.